out there in the community doing what they need to do to save a life. And we're here to honor all of those folks today. We're going to start out with Lester Hermansky. Lester's over here in the corner. On Friday, November 13th, 2015, in the evening, First Aid and Safety Patrol was dispatched to residents in South Lebanon Township for an unconscious person with an update that the patient is not breathing and CPR instructions are being given. Our crew consisting of Battalion Chief Jeff Clark, who's not here, Captain Rob Hancock, Paramedic Don Kilhefner, and EMT Brian Hefner. Any of those people here? None of which are here. Responded to the residents. When they arrived, they found the patient Lester lying on the floor, unresponsive, with excellent chest compressions being delivered by his wife Karen. Our crew initiated care and found Lester to be in a cardiac rhythm that required immediate defibrillation. After defibrillation, several minutes of CPR, invasive procedures, and medications, Lester had a return of spontaneous circulation, which meant his heart had now started to beat on its own again. Lester was discharged from Good Samaritan Hospital on November 19, 2015, just 6 days after suffering cardiac arrest in his home. During his admission at Good Samaritan, Lester received a cardiac catheterization, which revealed an occlusion of the left circumflex artery, which is a pretty big deal, at which time a stent was placed, and he also received therapeutic hypothermia. Therapeutic hypothermia is a treatment that cools the body temperature to reduce the risk of tissue injury from the lack of blood flow. Lester suffered no neurological deficits, as he's witnessed to here today, from this event. He is here with his family, his wife, to celebrate the many people that came to his rescue that day. At this time, I'd like to have Lester, his wife Karen, and the dispatcher Warren Evans come up to receive. On Monday, November 30th, 2015, in the evening, First Aid and Safety Patrol was dispatched to a residence in North Lebanon Township for a cardiac arrest. Our crew consisting of Battalion Chief Jay Freed, he's back there, say hi Jay, we got one, hey. Captain Travis Martin, also in the back there. In the Myerstown First Aid Unit, we have one representative from there as well, responding to the residents. When they arrived, they found the patient, Janet, lying on the floor with excellent chest compressions being delivered by her husband, Tim. Our crew initiated care and found Janet to be in a cardiac rhythm that required immediate defibrillation. After several defibrillations, several minutes of CPR, invasive procedures, and medication, Janet had a return of spontaneous circulation. Janet was discharged from Good Samaritan Hospital on December 7th, 2015, just 7 days after suffering cardiac arrest in her home. During her admission at Good Samaritan Hospital, Janet received a cardiac catheterization, which revealed no major vessel occlusions, and she also received therapeutic hypothermia. Janet suffered no neurological deficits from her cardiac arrest, and is here with her family to celebrate the many people that came to her rescue that day. This time I'd like to have Janet, her husband Tim, and Brian please come forward to be recognized. Just in closing, I'd like to say that Lester and Janet are both here today because of the many community members and community partners coming together as a team during these two events. It is a system of care. There are several links in the chain of survival that increase the chances of surviving a cardiac arrest event. These include early recognition, early chest compressions, utilizing hands-only CPR.
Hi, would you tell me your names?
Karen Hermansky.
Lester Hermansky.
And I understand that you had an experience that you're willing to share with us. And why don't you start by telling us how long you've known how to do CPR?
I took a course 2 years ago with the Heart Association in order to qualify for a course in teaching arthritis Tai Chi.
And did you ever expect to have to use that on a family member?
My statement after I finished was, God help us if I ever have to do this. And I somehow had the strength.
That's wonderful. And how about you, Les? How do you feel about your wife resuscitating you?
Well, she's given me new life. A new lease on life, anyway.
Is your love stronger now than it ever was?
At least, yes.
At least. I just think it's an amazing story. I want to say thank you and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have many
Good
more
to be
years.
alive again, yes.
Great. What's your name?
My name is Tim McGowen.
Tim, I understand you had an experience this last year where, well, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, it was quite an experience. Basically, we were just sitting down on a nice evening, on a Monday evening, watching television, and I heard this noise, and I thought, my wife fell asleep awfully quick. She just sat down and fell asleep, and it's unusual. And I realized that it wasn't snoring. She was basically dead at that point. And I recognized that. I wasn't able to do anything on the sofa where she was sitting, so we pulled her down on the floor and started the compressions right away and dialed 911. And the rest is history. Luckily, she's still here to be able to enjoy this occasion. So.
What a blessing. So when did you first take CPR?
It was many, many years ago in Boy Scouts. I learned the first aid merit badge, and of course from there you never think you're going to use it. It does usually never come up, but I do events a lot where there's a lot of people there, and I thought it would be a good idea to get some refresher courses on CPR. And through the place that I used to work, we had some first aid training. We learned CPR again. Again, you never think it's going to be needed, but that was an occasion where, again, it just automatically kicked in.
And when was the last time you took a class?
Oh my goodness, that'd be about 15 years ago.
So it's something you never forget once you learn it, but it's good to refresh.
Yeah, it is good to refresh once in a while because of the new techniques and devices that come out. I'm really glad to see that in the schools they have the defibrillators on the hallways now. I just did an event on Saturday where I noticed one at an elementary school, and you know, at any age it can happen, and just having that information available, getting the refresher course, I think is definitely a benefit.
Well, thank you for taking quick action and saving your life, your wife's life.
Yep, you're welcome. I'm glad I could do it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. What? Oh, and good help. Yeah, I have good helpers at my events too.
Yeah.
Yeah.